talking about? Okay, so this is from today's interview. And what this guy did is he basically showed this web page. Yeah, he showed this web page and said, this is a management tool for Autel, some kind of management tool. And they have some clients. And then for each client, when they select, it shows this kind of data on a website, web page. And these are called web tables. You remember from Selenium, right? The tables. And this is the something price, he said. These are some customer value segment, blah, blah, blah. And for each, let's say if you select a certain customer, these are test data. He said these are not real data, but some mock test dummy data they have. And for different clients, when they select, this data changes, okay, from this web table. And the main question was this one. When he selects this drop-down customer value segment, it displays these options here. And do you remember what he said about this drop-down? So what he said is that this drop-down, it's not a regular drop-down, he said. Do you remember now? Yeah. It's not a regular drop-down. Basically, it's not a select class. How would you automate this if it's not a select class?
By creating a, we answered by creating a.
No, not you.
No.
Guys, online, on-site, we have Miss Mary here. She's really good at automation now. How would you automate this? Drop down. Who wants to go first? Are you done? Are we audible?
Baha, excuse me.
Yes,
Yeah, can you clarify the question? I will try the
good.
yes.
Question. See? That's exactly what we asked. Wait, can you clarify the question, please? Could you? That's what he said. He's like, so I have this drop down during interview. He said, I have this drop down, and it's not a traditional or regular drop down, he said. So how would you automate this? Basically, when you click on this drop down, you will see these options. How would you automate them? So, and then we asked, when you say it's not a traditional drop down, here's an example I can show you. No. Select drop down. HTML. There you go. In HTML, our drop downs are like this. When I click on this drop down, as you can see, Volvo, Saab, Opel, and etc. Right? This is what select drop down means. You see, they're using select tag, right? So for this select tag, I can add one more option here. And as not Volvo, I can leave it empty and selected. Select What does it say here? Customer value segment. Customer value segment. Run. You see? Right? Not selected and disabled. Let me run that. So see, I cannot select it. You see? So this, let me squish it over here. So forget about these guys. And forget about this. Okay. And forget about this guy, about this. And let's keep space here so you guys, there you go, you see. And does it look similar here? Customer value segment, right? If I go over here, customer value segment, right?
Yes.
And here also, as you can see, for example, selected text, style equal,
Wait.
color green. Come on. Inline style is this. No, I need inline. Inline, yeah. Oh, my computer's stuck now. This inline, yes. So, oh, I don't need the other part. I don't need these curly braces. What? Yeah, style equals color blue. There you go. There you go. See? It's green now, right? So I'm trying to make it as close to as possible. This green right here, I'm trying to mimic that, okay? Basically, they want to automate this. They want to be able to select different options or make sure that these are the options displayed on this drop down. But they want someone to automate it. But what he's saying is that it is not like this regular select tag. They're not using select option for the drop down. Okay, what they're using is div element for no. Remember Orange HRM? Yeah. We automated this. Yeah, if I research this right now, if I inspect this, I mean, go in here, to the right. Yeah, so this is Li, the second guy. If I go in here, span. Yeah, we don't see the options right now. I can click here. These are the options. Okay, so let's say this is a list, you know, or there are some which are listed as not Li, but div, right? Did we have that? Div. Go to admin page and then add user. Yeah, here, employee name, J. See, these are, I think, okay, it's getting, I cannot see it. How can I see the options? I need to blur, delete the blur effect. Okay. So J, okay. You see now these options here, you see? What are they? They are div. You see? All of these options here, James, like these are what I'm talking about. James Butler, Joseph Evans, blah, blah, blah. All of these options are now listed as div elements, not select. On the other hand, here, these options are listed as select elements. You see, select tag, and then option, 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 right? But on this one, not select with options. It is div element. Inside one div container, there's more div containers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So during interview, that's what he said. We clarified, hey, does it mean that these options are not in a select tag? He said, yes, they're not select tag elements. In that case, how would you automate this? You guys keep sitting quiet. I will also keep sitting quiet. I like it. I don't get to talk.
So we have to list them in array.
Hmm.
Then try to use.
This is one of the most asked questions. Difference between find element and find elements.
Because find element is unique.
What does
But
mean unique?
unique means we are giving the, what type,
Hey guys, you're spending money here, you're studying, you're the one who's gonna need job. After January, there's no more interview support. After New Year's, Baha is done with interview supports. So they will ask this question because 800 plus interviews, I know what they ask. Find element versus find elements. I'm sure you will get this question. What's the difference?
So find elements is we're finding list of the elements.
Mhm.
But find element is one of the how can you say, like unique one by ID, let's say, right?
Okay. So find element returns one element.
Yeah.
Find element returns list of elements. That's it. That's the difference. And then after that follow-up question, you know what they ask? What would, if the element doesn't exist, what would they return? Find element and find elements. Okay, I give you 5 minutes to come up with an answer to this question. You can ChatGPT, Google it, but I want every single one of you to be ready to answer this question. Okay, first, we're gonna have online students start with the answer. Who wants to start first? Somebody just dropped off. Who was that? Ready? Ulan, you ready?
Yes.
All right. what is the difference between find element versus find element?
So find element and the find elements method we use find element when we looking for just one element, and the find elements when we looking for the list of elements, like our situation.
Okay, that's why I bring this question, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yes, several
so
option.
find elements returns what again?
A list of elements. Each, for
Okay.
example, buttons, list of options.
Good. Now, what if the element cannot be found for find element versus find elements? What will it return?
What if we cannot find web element?
Yeah. Okay, seems like you don't have the answer. Dinara,
Such element
microphone was
right there.
okay.
No such element exception
For which one?
for element.
Find element.
Find
What
element.
about find elements?
Elements are returns size equal 0. Just
0. Why size equals 0?
because of element that we're getting the size of the elements. I mean, list of the elements. And size, the
Yeah.
method of size give us
Empty array list
Mhm.
has the size 0.
Yeah.
That's why it gets automatically initialized to 0 size, right?
Mhm.
Okay. This is going to be very, very, very crucial for interviews. They always ask this question, the difference between find element versus find elements. Okay, make sure you add this to your Selenium notes. How do you like these notes? Do you think these notes will help during interview, Dinara?
of course,
Why?
because of its pretty like I would say like we have multiple options when we are, for example, can like hide and also like open right away by name, by topic, for example. And
So here, this is how we are organizing it.
Yeah.
Behavioral, Java, Selenium, API, database, mobile testing. And then inside of this, about yourself, strength, weakness, blah, 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 for behavioral strictly. Can you read this and see if it's good or not?
Hi, my name is Dee. I have been a quality automation engineer for these 6 years, and throughout my career, I have been working involved in different industries, including financial, insurance, and e-commerce domains. I'm part of the software development team, and I perform both manual and automation testing. My responsibilities as a quality assurance engineer is to write test plan, test cases, and automate them within the sprint. I conduct different types of testing, such as functional and non-functional security, integration, including smoke and regression. I have automated tests using such tools as Selenium with Java, Cypress Playwright with JavaScript for UI, and utilize ResAssured for API test cases. For different projects, I have also involved database testing,
Validated.
validated database testing with SQL and JDBC tools.
Good? Too much or not?
No,
Good?
it's short.
All right. Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I've been quality automation engineer for this many
Yeah.
years. And throughout my career, I've been working and involved in different industries, including financial, insurance, e-commerce domains. I'm part of software development team, and I perform both manual and automation testing. And my responsibilities as a quality assurance engineer is to write test plan, test cases, and automate them within the sprint. I conduct different types of testing, such as functional and non-functional, security, integration, including smoke and regression. I have automated tests using such tools as Selenium with Java, Cypress, and Playwright with JavaScript for UI, and utilized ResAssured for API test cases. For different projects, I have also validated database testing with SQL and JDBC tools. And that's about me in a high level. It cannot be more than this.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we don't want to keep it too short. We want to give them in high level, what are the tools we know? What I do as a quality automation engineer, how many years of experience I have, what are different domains that I have experience with. That's it. And then if they have more questions like today, they will start asking, right? Good. All right, now that we know the difference between find element versus find elements, let's get back to our test case. He strictly asked, how would you automate this? Given that this drop down right here, when you click this drop down, it displays these options. How would you automate them? Like, it's a generic question. We didn't really ask what needs to be automated and etc. If you want to, you can. But on the other hand, we don't want to like be too like itty bitty detailed and ask like cheap questions. All right, so to automate this, I know what exactly he's trying to ask. So what it is, yes, this is a drop down with multiple different options. And then if you remember follow-up question, what was it about this text? So you see, the thing here is in the options, you don't see much text,
Yeah.
right? And then here, we see the text. So this text tells us something. Ulan, you want to give it a shot?
Oh, it's like a filter, right? They're sorting customer value, right?
Sure, yeah, customer value segment, it's a sorting maybe. Yes.
Okay. So your question, how we are gonna automate this part, right?
Yeah. How would you automate this?
So probably we have to create some list of options, and we can do like dynamic option. We can select, I mean, define one web element and make it dynamic. And when we run our automation, it will choose like which one.
Filter by this customer value segment, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this was also open for any questions. First of all, in order to deal with this locator, we have to make sure that we are dealing with something static to locate this element, right? And the follow-up question was, is this text static in order for me to locate this element? Yes. In that case, clicking on this drop-down and store all the options from this element. When I click it, I see different options, store them into a list of web elements such as array list, and then loop over it and test each one of them. Does it make sense? Loop over it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yes.
in your loop, you will see all of these options, all of them, okay?
Yes.
Because they all have the same locator. Here's what I mean. So if I, for example, write, what does it say? There you go. Div with this class name, right? Watch how many locators am I gonna get. Div with the class name. Oh, I need to put @, right? Oops. Class name equal to this. How many options? 5, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options here, right? You see, I get 5 options. 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that. Okay? When I write code, I will get these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options instead of 5. Unless this also has some kind of value. But this probably is a placeholder for selecting all or
All
unselecting all.
option.
Yeah, all options. But by default, how all of them probably are displayed. Anyhow, in a high level, he wanted to see our approach on how would I test this? How would I automate it? What exactly am I trying to test? So our approach was click on the locate this dropdown by the static text. Click on it, get all these options, store them in an array list, loop over them, and test each one of them. What does it mean? So if I select this one, the first all dollars, correct? When
Yes.
after I select it, it should filter all of them which has all the customer value segment options. It has to be all of them. If I select, for example, the $4, right? It should display all the results with the $4 symbol, see? So that's the approach. Now, as far as like what it's responsible for and what should it filter, what should happen if this happens, then blah, 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 different scenarios you can ask, but you don't have to. Make sense? Did they ask this question? And do you think we are doing similar things in our project? Yeah, this is exactly what,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
This is even more dynamic drop down than that one because this will change as I type. See, if I type JA, then I only see
Yeah.
one. James Butler.
Right now, you don't have any promotions. That's better than 730, unless you were a new line. Like, how many lines do you have right now?
Cool. Any questions? So this is fresh. Like few hours ago, this question was asked during interview, guys. Okay. So I want you guys to really pay attention, please, because these will come during interviews. Okay. Another one. They showed it like this, but of course, I took two different pictures. So the question was, given this web page, do you remember, Dee?
Sure.
What was the question?
The question was,
I know the picture is not so good. I was trying my best. I even turned off the
Yeah,
light and then took the picture because it was too much shine. So the question was, you see here, your company, right? And then at the rate, and then product, sale, inspiration, brands, outlet, tagline describing your e-shop. And then look, bestsellers, seasonal, but there's no any specific products or anything. This is just something generic. Seasonal, category, outlet, browse all products, and then just these are placeholder pictures only. Product name, you see? It's not necessarily showing any specific products or any specific company. And even the text here is lorem ipsum, which is a placeholder text. So the question was basically around this. So given that page, right? Starting from the top, there is a deal widget. How do we read this? Yes, not widget, widget. Widget that shows a deal that the shop would like to highlight. Deal widget. Shop header widget that shows the company's name. You see, shop header. This shop header, it shows the company's name. Microphone. Oh, you put it here? Perfect. Okay. See you. Any update on those interviews yet? No, this? Not yet, right? See you. And then this part will show the company's logo. And then we have search widget, which is this guy right here, right? Search product, it says. And then we have navigation widget. Navigation is product, sale, inspiration, brands, outlet, shipping, returns, and warranty, like all of these. And a hero widget, which is this guy right here. Category navigation, new product, and etc. All of these widgets are a combination of data, content from the CMS, Consumer Management System, CMS, and presentation, HTML, CSS. The content loaded for each email is specific to a shop. So different shops will get different data. The deal will differ per shop. The categories will differ per shop. The navigation will differ per shop. So everything is dealer agnostic. That means it will change per dealer, per shop. As you can see, they wrote something dynamic. So let's say the shop is called Mary's store. And here, her store logo will be displayed. All the products, Mary's store, for example, carries what? T-shirts, okay? And these T-shirts, for example, he has bestseller T-shirts, seasonal ones, and different categories, like really, really hot summer T-shirt, gym T-shirt, boxing T-shirt, sports, running T-shirt, and then the outlet. And then here, the product name, is it on sale or not? New products, for example. And then from here, inspiration, brands, blah, blah, blah. And then we have Ulan's outlet store. Ulan's outlet store will sell, for example, the shoes, bestseller shoes, seasonal shoes like snow boots or summer boot or hiking boots, right? And then different categories. And also the product name, blah, 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 if it's on sale or not. And then we have, who else we got? Aidana. Let's say Dana's shop. And Dana, what do you want to sell? Dana.
I don't know.
Dana.
Maybe like kids toys or something.
Kids clothing.
Yeah.
Kids clothing store and all the products and the best sellers, or let's say it's kids toys. That's fine. Kids bestseller toys, seasonal toys, right? For example, Christmas time is coming up. Anything related to Santa Claus or Elsa, or like seasonal toys, and then different categories, the product name, blah, blah, blah. And now the question was, how would you what would be your approach on automation for this page? I'll give you 5 minutes to look through the screenshots attached in the Slack channel, look through it, come up with a plan on, in a high level, how would you automate? Where would you start? What would be your automation approach? What exactly would you test? Would you automate everything at once, or you will start coming up with a high level strategy first? And what are different things that you would include in your first automation? And this has to be deal or shop agnostic. So if Mary uses this application for Mary's store, then your automation framework should work for hers. And then kids store shop for Aidana, for her page, your automation code should work. For Ulan, the running shoes, the hiking shoes, different shoe store, for his also page, it should work because you all have the same structure of the page. The only thing changing here is the data. The data is, I'm so glad that you guys recently covered API testing, because in API testing, the data that we receive comes in the JSON format. And these stores will also have all the data coming in JSON format. So come up with a different approach and plan, and let's discuss that. I give you 10 minutes for this. How about that? That's fine. I don't know. There's no right or wrong.
So it seems so like for me challenging, like all your questions, honestly.
No, that's what they ask during interviews. That's why I am preparing you now, so that during interview you don't get shocked, right?
Yes, I'm
So let's
shocked
go.
now. So for this page, so as the ChatGPT suggests, whenever we start like our automation framework, we need to look at the most main like functionalities, like to automate main functionalities that is like mostly used. So here, I think since this is the online shop, and the main like one of its main features is like the customer wants always like search for its products. So first, like I would start from automating the search functionality, like searching for a product functionality, and then I would go to this header. How it's called?
Navigate. Oh, you mean where the logo is?
No, this
Or
products.
the options? Oh, that's the navigation.
Yeah.
Navigation bar, navigation menu.
So navigation menu, then also like I would use since it's dynamic mostly, I think like I would like start how to say searching by using find elements. I would store all these like web elements into a like a web list or web list, and then like put some conditions. For example, if like if the customer wants like the first nav, then the product will be clicked, and then sale, and that, and so on and so on. And then and so this part I'm not sure, like what is the functionality of this tagline describing your eShop?
It's the hero part. That's fine.
Yeah, and then like your company part header also will be automated, like validating the name of the company. If it's like the one we are
What
sure.
about this?
This also like it's a category, right? Category.
We have bestseller, the seasonal category, outlet. These are part of the, what widget does it say? Category navigation widget, yeah.
Yeah, it's also like we could use like by to find those locators, like using search elements, and then since they are dynamic, like it will be changed only the text bestseller seasonal. We can also store in a list, and then loop using for loop to validate
Okay.
and yeah.
Okay, so what have you learned from this exercise, and then
Starting like from scratch, like how to come up with like a plan that will
good. That's exactly what they wanted to see. What is how they want to know your approach, right? Let's say there's someone in the street who's just sitting and crying. There's no one around, and it's really cold outside, and that person is, let's say, a little kid, about 4 or 3 years old, and she's sitting in the street and just crying. And you're passing by and there's no one and it's getting dark outside. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go approach and ask if you can help, what's going on, right? So that's your approach. Basically, you're gonna come up to that person, approaching. Приближаться, right? Подойти, подходить, подойти.
Yeah.
Подход, подход. So basically, they want to know your plan or approach on how would you automate this? Where would you start? Because you just jumped into a project, it's ready, there's no automation, there's no test cases. This is the project, start automating.
So we had to mention like what kind of tool are we going to use and what kind of testing like we will use and so on, right? Or in this example, I thought like we need to just automate on those like critical functionalities.
Good, really good. Yes, Miss Claire, what was the question?
Should we create at first a scenario?
Scenario?
Mhm.
No.
No,
So the question, did you hear the question or no?
no. I
No?
don't.
Okay, so this is from today's interview. For D, she had interview. There were 4 people sitting and asking this question. They shared this screenshot and said, hey, we want you to come up with your plan or approach on how to automate this web page. And this has to be shop, retailer, store agnostic. What does agnostic mean? Can you guys look it up in Russian? Agnostic. Do you guys know how to even write agnostic?
ENG,
No, A-G-N-O-S-T-I-C. Agnostic.
It's a system where a person neither affirms nor denies. Is it
Agnostic. No.
the thing?
A-G. Agnostic. Agnostic. In Russian. Agnostichno. Really? Oh my God. No, I didn't know, guys. Really. Независимый. So good. Yes. Yes.
скептический.
Независимый. That's what I wanted to hear. So, вне зависимости от магазина. Okay? So it doesn't matter what store it is. It could be Miss Mary's, what was your shop? T-shirt shop. Miss Claire's coat, jacket shop. Ulan's running shoes, hiking shoes shop. Aidana's kids toys shop. See, it doesn't matter. It can be any store. Guys, please listen. It can be any store. You see, store agnostic. It doesn't matter which store you put here. As long as you provide the data, this website will work. It will show everything that you need. Just provide me data. That's it. Right? And it will show for anything. All right, Miss Claire is like, I want to provide the jackets. I have a store and I sell jackets only. Women's, men's, it doesn't matter. All right, give me the data. She gives me the JSON data. What is JSON data? JSON?
JavaScript.
Yep.
Yeah.
Object notation. So basically JavaScript object, like in the API that we get, right? She just gives me the data and I put that data and this is what I see. So it's like the smoothie machine. What does it do? For smoothie machine, what do we call it? Blender? What is it in Russian? Blender in Russian also?
Yeah, we call it a blender.
Yeah, you see? So I see here 3 different blenders. So look at this. So in this blender, I am putting orange, strawberry, grape, and whatever that is. right? Does it work for it? Yes. And in this one, I am putting different things and it works with it. On this one, I put different things. It still works. So this is, the Blender is fruit agnostic. It doesn't matter what fruit you're gonna put in there. You just put in and it will mix them and makes what? Smoothie for you or juice for you, smoothie, right? So here, that's what they're saying. This website is store or shop agnostic. It doesn't matter what shop it is. You provide us data, we will display. Yeah. So such websites examples are e-commerce websites. You see here? It looks just like that. Oh, where did it go? Yeah. Look, this is probably selling meals for kids. It has the hero page and then different brands and then drop down what kind of meal, etc. And then there's this clothing sale. See, simple shoes, 30% off. And then shoes with the product prices. And you should be able to search. You see, you can search our store, and then different categories, different shoes, the accessories. Yeah, this is for a shoe one. Jacket, e-commerce. Yeah, there you go. This one is for jackets mainly, right? And as you can see, these are navigation menus. And then you can search for different products, the display, the prices. And oh, I went into the store and I said I will not go into the store again. I just want to show. Oops. You guys know this store? Brunello Cucinelli. I went to the store and my daughters touched a couple of things. And this guy was, oh, okay, honey, don't touch that. Oh, honey, don't touch this. I was like, why is he being so? Because I didn't even know the prices. I was on the phone preparing someone for interview. And I look at the prices. Look. And they were eating candy. They're like, oh, daddy, look. And this guy, the sales guy is like, please don't touch that. Please, please, please don't touch. Please don't touch. I'm like, what's going on? And then I went, he's like, sir, these items are very sensitive. These are the display items. Could you please make sure they don't touch with I see they're eating candy. But oh, I'm sorry. Look at the price. I was like, okay, we're out of here. Let's go. And they were actually touching the kids one too, like the vest. The vest was $4,200 just for a kid's vest. Can you imagine? And then a lot of people were shopping. So I guess I don't know how to dress. Look at this. Small dress, kids dress, $2,970. Shoes, $900 just for kids stuff. And I was
These kids so are going there.
look at
right?
this. Baby pants, $650. That baby is gonna wear it maybe 1 or 2 months and then throw it away. So yeah. Anyways, sorry for stepping away from the topic. So this is an e-commerce website, right? So they give you something like that, and your automation approach, Idana, was right to the point. When they give you this kind of question, how would you automate this? Can you tell us your approach? Please do not go with the answer of, I would go with driver.get or driver.find element, and then the search products placeholder text, and then driver.find element by text products, driver.find element sale. No. Then you can go back to kindergarten, please. Okay. Okay. This is not for that kind of question. They know that you have 6 years of experience. They want to hear your approach as a professional. You come in, they have this website sitting there. There's no automation, no test cases. They want you to automate. So you need to give them your plan, your approach. So as Idana said, start with having a good plan. That means very high level. Okay, that means also smoke test. I would first of all start with an approach of coming up with a plan on identifying, first of all, identifying the different technologies and tools that we are providing for our customers. Do we have mobile users? Do we have mobile application? Or is it only web page to start with? If it's just a web page to start with, then I need to also consider the resources that we have in the team. What are some of the automation engineers we have in the team, and what tools they are comfortable with? You have 4 people in your team, and 3 of them are very comfortable with Cypress, and you are the only person who is comfortable with Selenium, and you are the lead. What about those 3 people who are good at Cypress, and you are the only person with Selenium? What are you gonna do? So that you have to consider that scenario also, right? Right? They hire you as a 6 years plus experience, and those are 3 years experienced people, but they all have hands-on experience with Cypress. So in that case, you have to come up with a good approach, like, hey, the tool, what are we comfortable with? And then if everybody is good at Cypress, then you might want to pick Cypress. And if you want to say, I want to use Selenium, then you have to come up with a good reasoning. Why Selenium, right? If it's just a web page, it might be good to go with Cypress. And you might have to learn Cypress, that's fine. Because all the tools for automation, they are the same. There's no difference. They are there to do automation, that's it. So to coming back to this, start having a plan, and in your plan, list out what are different types of testing that you're gonna conduct, and come up with a high-level smoke test case, which are the most critical and crucial features and functionalities of this web page. Identify them. Searching, it's very crucial. The company logo, it's very crucial. Having all the list of navigation options, products, sale, inspiration, brands, outlet, shipping, returns and warranty, contact. All of these are very important. Make sure they are there and they are displayed and they work as expected. And then the hero part, right in the middle, where it says tagline, describe your eShop. It's a description about your web page or your e-commerce shop. What do you sell? What are different items? Hey, welcome to our e-commerce. Welcome to our shop. Oh, welcome to Mary's shop. Here we specialize in selling the best t-shirts or jackets. Yours was t-shirt, right? T-shirts. We sell the best quality t-shirts in the world. Varying from summer all the way to winter, all season t-shirts, 100% cottons. You can trust our quality. Boom. That's the hero part, description. So make sure your hero is displayed, and make sure all the buttons on the UI, like the shop sales, all products, These have to work as expected when you click on them. And the bestseller, seasonal, category, outlet, those are category navigation, right? Those need to work as expected. So that's your high level approach. You divide it into different parts, right? You don't automate everything right away. And once you have all of this, then you're gonna go in and click each one of them. For example, the products. When you click on products navigation option, it should take you to the products page. Sale. When you click on that, it should take you to the sale page. Inspiration, brands, and so on. When you search for products, obviously it has to display all the content which is searched for, and so on. Now, your approach is obviously, first of all, identify the resources that you have, who has what kind of experience in your team. Secondly, provide documentation, not documentation, provide a plan on what tools are you going to use, what technologies are you going to use for your automation. Third, high-level test plan for your smoke suite, smoke test case. Smoke test case are the crucial components, crucial parts of your software, the most critical parts that has to be working every day in order for your customers to be able to make purchase, so you don't lose customers. And then create within your smoke suite, create description for each test case. What is it testing exactly? Search products. All right, for search products, I want to make sure when I search by the title, by the description, by product category, whatever I type, it should list all the items. And then, for example, products, when I click on, make sure the navigation bar, every option works and takes you to the corresponding page, and so on. And that will be more than enough to answer this, because otherwise, if you think about it, if you go into an interview and they display this, and how would you automate this? Right? It's going to be shock. So make sure that we have this approach on automation. Any questions? No? Okay. See you guys in Notion, right? As you have Notion? Yeah, everybody? Notion, okay. About yourself next. One of the most favorite questions is that how would you build an automation from scratch? How would you build an automation from scratch? First of all, we're not gonna answer to it right away. Yes, to build an automation framework from scratch, I use Selenium, Java, and I build an automation from scratch. We have to start with coming up with a plan. No, before doing that, understand the project, identify tools and technologies, learn about team and their expertise. If you are in a lead position, or if you are the senior person, then learn about your team and their expertise and experience with what tools. Okay, try to identify, for example, if they're more experienced with Cypress. As I said, if 6 people are comfortable using Cypress and you are the lead, then it's better to use Cypress. And coming up with a plan for managing test cases. Identify and create a list of smoke test candidates, which are usually the most critical and crucial features and functionalities of the software. Create a demo presentation to the team and get feedback on the decided tools. Start with an automation of most repetitive items, features of the software. I can share this with you guys too in the Slack channel. I dropped it in the chat in Slack. Okay, so when you're answering this question, it's not about just, so these are the notes, yeah? Like this is not the full answer. So if they ask you about how would you build an automation framework from scratch? First, this is a hook. That's a really good way to ask you a question, which is one of the most generic questions. And I have seen this question asked many, many times, and I try to spend time on mostly asked questions. First of all, you need to try to understand the project. In order to build an automation framework from scratch, I want to understand the project. This is just a note. Now, what does it mean? Clarify, right? Understand the project, if we have any dependencies, or what is the data flow, and what are the most used features and parts of our software, and how do the customers behave without, what's the customer's behavior with our software. And once I have understood the project, then identify the tools and technologies that were used to build this software or the application or the project, such as what are different tools used for the APIs, and if we have any, for example, database technologies, then what are different database technologies they are using? Is it Java, SQL Server, or Oracle, or is it GraphQL? There are different database technologies, and for mobile testing, what are different types of applications, such as native or hybrid types of mobile applications. Once you have identified those, then also consider your team, learn about your team and their expertise and experience with different tools. What are the tools that they are comfortable with, right? Are they more comfortable with Java Selenium, or do they have more experience with Playwright and JavaScript, or Cypress with JavaScript, or maybe Python or C#? Try to create a picture about your team's strength, basically. And once you have done that, come up with a plan for managing your test plan and test cases. Instead of test plan, you can also use test suite. Like, where and how are you going to document these? Where are you going to manage them? Jira, it has Confluence page where you can manage your test plan and test documentation. Or if the company has some kind of test management tool, such as X-Ray we use, right? Or Qtest or Spira Test. There are many test management tools. And then identify and create a list of smoke test candidates. And those are usually the most critical and crucial components or crucial features and functionalities of our software. Create a list of them. If it has to be end-to-end, that's fine. Create an end-to-end scenarios for your testing. And then also, once you have a clearer picture of the project, the crucial parts of your software, an idea about your team and their experience and expertise with different tools, and you have identified what test management tools that you're going to use, what are different technologies the software was using, then create an approach or a presentation or a demonstration to the team and to get the feedback on the decided tools. Let's say you have now decided to use Selenium with Java. Come up with a small presentation, like in classes we do, or Joe does presentations, right, for classes. Come up with a presentation like that. Hey, today I would like to present and demo about this tool, which we're going to use for our automation, for example, and this the advantages of this tool. Why did we decide to go with Selenium and Java? And we're going to be implementing page object model design pattern. Why page object model design pattern is better, and why did we pick this tool compared to other ones? Basically, this is a presentation or demo to the team, and they will provide their feedback. For example, they might say, hey, you know what? We don't want to do with Selenium and Java. We have done this in the past. It never worked out for us. We want a JavaScript technology, maybe with something with Playwright or Cypress, because we want our developers to also write some test cases. So we want JavaScript and Playwright, for example. Get the feedback, right? And see what they think. And then actually start with an automation of the most repetitive items and the most repetitive, like the crucial features of the software, which is, again, part of the smoke test candidates. And that's how I would approach on starting building the automation framework from scratch. They ask this question a lot. So basically, don't jump into like driver.find element, driver.get a URL, please. Oh, I would locate the element with XPath. No, nobody's asking about XPath. Nobody's asking about driver.find element. Please look at it from higher, like, how do they say? Bird's eye, meaning like from up top. Look at it from the top. Okay, Ulan?
Yes.
So we have an application here, and it's a doctors and nurses management software that we want to provide to our hospitals. And basically, this application is going to be about keeping track of managing the doctor's information, such as how many hours they worked, where do they live, their phone number, contact information, and which school did they go to, what are their specialties. For example, a doctor can be an internal doctor, a doctor can be internal organs, a doctor can be neuroscience doctor, a doctor can be cardiovascular, right? Heart surgeon. A doctor can be, I don't know, physicist, any physicist. And then nurses, we have nurse managers, senior nurse, registered nurse, and etc. So we have this software that we have built to manage the doctors and nurses. And we currently do not have any test cases. We have maybe like 4 or 5 test cases. Our developers tried to write some test cases. It never worked out. Therefore, we are hiring a quality assurance engineer or quality assurance automation engineer, such as yourself, with about 6, or senior engineer, to help us build a framework and to manage our quality assurance. So could you please provide us with your approach on how would you go about building an automation framework from scratch for us?
Okay. So first of all, I need to explore our web application or mobile application, what kind of features we have, what kind of service we can provide the customers, and we need to understand full our project, including our application. We need to identify tools and technologies. I need to understand the requirement of our applications. According to our list, I need to learn about the team and their experience and expertise and what kind of tool they're using usually. And I need to give my approach and my strategy. How can I build automation? I need to provide them my plan, my strategy. I need to write a test plan and test cases. What else? And I need to make a presentation to the team and get a feedback from them. And we need to decide which tool is acceptable for the project. I can just give them my suggestion, like Java, Cucumber, Selenium tools, and maybe they have the different experience of using the tools like the Cypress and other. It depends of what's most acceptable for the team. We will decide which tool we are gonna use in our project. So we need to I need to present and make the demo automation, and I will start with a smoke test where I can show them how I'm gonna automation the main features or main functionalities of our web application or mobile application.
Okay,
And that's it.
good, thank you. Okay. Cool. Trying out new designs. Let's go with ChatGPT. How to answer the question as to QA automation engineer. How would you go about creating an automation from scratch for an existing software web application that manages the doctor's information such as HR management. What would be your plan if no test cases and what would consider crucial? All right, let's see. Whew. How close we were. Let's find out. Here's a structured approach to answer the question about creating an automation from scratch for an existing HR management software when no test cases exist. Now, keep in mind, this is a separate question, and the wait. Okay, this is a how would you design your automation framework structure? This is a separate question, okay? These two. How would you design your automation framework structure? Or how would you build it from scratch? What structure would you apply? What design pattern would you follow? Those are separate questions. So first of all, it says again, understand the application and requirements. Before you jump into writing automation, again, driver.find element or driver.get. No, please stay away from that, right? Before writing an automation, you need to understand the application thoroughly, right? Understand the project. So, and it also includes details such as meet with stakeholders, or you can also talk to product owners or subject matter experts, right? SME, we call them. Subject matter expert, SME. Understand key functionalities of the HR. I mean, I'm just giving here as an HR management software an example, which is this guy, right? Is this Orange HRM, Human Resources Management, HRM. This is what the software is about. This is an HRM tool, Human Resource Management. So if they give you this web page, it's already built, as you can see. How would you go about automating this? Well, before you can automate, you need to understand the application thoroughly. What is this application used for, right? Understand its key features and functionalities of the software. It doesn't matter. I just gave it as an HR management software. Explore the application. Good. Perform a manual exploration and map out, right? So if I give you this, hey, can you automate this? If it's a QA environment, you will go in and you will try to probably click around, and they're like, click, do anything you want. Nothing is gonna get affected. Don't worry about it. You can create anything you want. You can click on anywhere, search, add, edit. Nothing is gonna get affected. So go ahead and use it, for example, right? In that case, what you're gonna do is you're gonna do some exploratory testing, meaning practice with the software. Click around, type, search, create, do anything. Nothing's gonna get broken. So that's what it says. Explore the application. Perform a manual exploration to map out critical user workflows. What are users usually users' behavior with the software? Try to understand what they use it for. The core features. What are the main core features of this software? It says HRM. HRM means human resource management. Human resource management means tracking their timesheet, who this employee is, what's his name, what's his ID number, what's his email, what's his phone number, which department does he belong to. You're trying to basically manage the information about the employee. When does this person get paid? How is his performance, right? It's like me performing a performance review for the students. Which students are ahead, which students are, to my understanding, is gonna find the job first, which students are not gonna find the job first, and how is this person's performance, right? What's the result, what's the outcome is going to look like. So they have the performance part. They can search for the different employee, for example, select their job title, and when from which date to which date, how did they perform. It will probably show performance score. This person is doing exceptionally good. This person is doing an average job. This person is not able to meet the deadlines. And then directory is probably the contact information. Yeah, see, contact information. If I go to this Rahul guy, it shows me Amelia Brown. So what happened with? So if I go to this Timothy guy, it shows me, probably it should show some of his information here, you know. And then the maintenance, blah, blah, blah. So basically, explore the application, do some exploratory testing, test it around, check it around, and then identify the priorities. Ask stakeholders to prioritize the most important areas for testing, which is the smoke test. High priority features and functionalities of the software. Identify the test candidates for your smoke suite. Where to start from? What is the most critical? Yeah, payroll calculations and leave approval might be critical. The critical components of the software features. Once you have done that, then create a test strategy. Okay, when no test case exists, start by defining a test strategy. Key focus areas. Where should we focus more? Critical functional flows. So it's just giving an example for employee login, leave request, payroll, performance evaluations. Yeah, look, leave, right? When did the employees leave? The timesheet for each employee, actions, go in and check. So total 1 hour worked, total nothing worked. So basically time tracking. Employee timesheets, yeah. So basically critical functional flows. Regression scenarios. Ooh, okay. This is for a test strategy for, okay. Ensure core features remain intact after code changes. You don't have to, I mean, slowly you can talk about, yes, eventually at the end, I want to automate the entire regression suite. That's fine. API testing. If there are any API test cases, cross-browser. Okay, this is important part. Automation scope. So we should also include that here. Understand the scope of the project. Scope means, yes, объем, масштаб, yeah? What is in scope? to automate for this project? What is not in scope for this project? All right, so what to automate? Critical user workflows, repeated actions, repetitive actions, right? I think we put that here somewhere. Yeah, the repetitive features and functionalities of the software, and complex flows. These are what I meant earlier about end-to-end scenarios, if there are any. What to leave for manual testing? Some scenarios can be tested manually, such as edge cases, visual UI checks, make sure like the pictures are loading correctly in the UI, and some exploratory testing can be done manually. Now, here comes the choosing the tools. How do we choose the right tools? Select the tools that fit the project needs and tech stack. What does it mean? So, how do we decide on what tool to use? Again, if you are the most senior person, then you are going to obviously consider the expertise of your team members, what they can work on. And if you are one of the just automation members, then usually the senior members will vote on what tools to use. But that's not a decision that's easy, because there are some factors that can affect this, okay? They might say Selenium is too old, we tried it before, and it requires some Java knowledge, heavy coding expertise. We don't want to go with Selenium. Then in that case, you have to either prove them wrong, or you have to go with a different tool. So choosing the right tool. And it happens usually with the team feedback. You decided with the team. And then develop test scenarios and test cases. Well, after we have identified, create a list of smoke test candidates. Okay, basically develop test scenarios and test cases. Start with the most critical workflows, and maybe automate end-to-end scenarios if you can. Test data management. How are you going to manage your test data? How are you managing the test data in currently in Cucumber BDD? Test data, Hece? Aydana, how are you managing the test data in your Cucumber right now, BDD?
Is it about like JSON files? Because I'm not sure, like regarding the answer, what will be the
What does test data mean?
test data is the format that we are receiving from the database. Is it about that?
What is this one?
This is data.
Data table, right? Yeah. So this is, what does it say? Data table. Data table. So test data. In your test, you are using this table as a data table. This table is providing you data. BK for first name, Sultan for last name, total price, blah, blah. All of these are data. So here, currently, we're using that. But in an actual environment, we usually don't store our test data in the test scenarios, okay? Like this test cases. Usually the data gets stored in a CSV file or some JSON file. It could be either within the framework, or it could be located somewhere else. And it always gets loaded to your framework before you run your test cases, which we will show how to read data from Excel files, okay? And then we use validation for that. So develop the test cases and test scenarios, identify different areas, come up with the critical flows of the software, and then the rest is building the actual automation. And here you have an option to talk about the advantages of page object model design pattern. And page object model design patterns, the biggest advantage is what? Page object model design pattern. What is its biggest advantage, you guys think?
It's
This
like separation, right? When, for example, in previous classes, when we were using this POM, we were creating all these web elements in a structured way in one file, and then its implementations in another file.
exactly. Yes. Separating them into corresponding pages and classes. So pages, that's it. That's page object model. And then you see pages, right? So
Mhm.
inside page directory, pages directory, you have page classes for each page of your software. Dashboard page, admin page, employee page, timesheet page, search page, all of these will have their own pages, and each page will have the locators, okay? And each page will also have the reusable methods that belong specifically to that page, so that we don't have to keep creating the same methods over and over again. It makes our software more scalable. What does scalable mean? Масштабироваться. деген сөз бар ғой? Yeah? Масштабироваться, объемироваться, get big, увеличиваться, қамтиды. Состав может позволить состав. Да? So even if the application becomes, imagine this Orange HRM, yeah? They give you this application and they only have this admin page initially. That's it. You don't have any of this, okay? Just imagine that. You only have this page. That's it. It's easy, right? To automate, right? I mean, easier than having all of these, because look at leave has different stuff, time has different stuff, recruitment has completely different things, right? See, my info is a completely different page, and then it has its even more complications for it that you have to do the automation for. But now look at this. If you only had admin page, it's much easier, right? So what does it mean by scalable? Scalable means when the application becomes big, it gets more complex, more complicated, more sophisticated, right? It gets scaled. It becomes huge. So now, initially you had this, and now you have PIM page, you have leave page, time, and these don't get added in one day. These will take time, 2 years maybe, to build out the software, okay? With bunch of engineers working simultaneously, nonstop. So these will take some time, maybe 1 year at least, you know? So as the software gets bigger and bigger, how are you going to manage your test cases? So if from an initially you start with page object model design pattern, it makes your code more scalable. Even if the software gets bigger, you don't care. You'll just keep adding different page classes. You just keep adding your locators into those classes. You just keep adding your reusable methods, and it's much easier for you to manage and maintain. What does maintain mean?
It's like
don't know.
managing
Maintain,
or in Russian.
manage. In Russian?
I'm not sure in Russian.
No. Maintain. Fix. Repair. Repair как будет? Ремонтировать. Yeah? Once your software becomes really, really big, your framework is also becoming really, really big, right? Initially for admin page, you had 40 test cases, and now they added time sheets page, and now you have another 40 page, and then they added the sick leave or PTO or whatever that's performance page, and now you added another 60 page. Now you have 60 plus 80, 140 test cases, but initially you only had 40 test cases. So it became big now, right? So it becomes harder to maintain, right? To fix, maintain. In Russian.
It's поддерживать. Yeah, I have googled.
Поддерживать, yeah. Поддерживать.
Сохранять.
Если он больше и больше станет, этот фреймворк, его будет трудновато поддерживать, содержать, or исправлять, обслуживать. Yeah, this is обслуживать, maintain. Because it became really big now. So the advantage of page object model design pattern is it will be easy for you to обслуживать, содержать, поддерживать, fix, repair, maintain, manage, right? Take care of. That is the main, one of the biggest main purposes of page object model design pattern is scalability and maintainability. And with the help of that, now you get rid of all duplicate coding. You make your code more reusable. You see? Structure the framework for maintainability and reusability. They love hearing these words. These words are like poem or song to your ears, you know? When they are interviewing you, when they hear these words, it's gonna sound them like the favorite songs. Dynamic, the word, right? Dynamic, scalable, maintainable, reusable. These are the songs to their ears to get the job. I want to make sure that all the code that I write is very dynamic so that I don't hard code anything. Hard coding means that song is for a different class.
It's like typing by yourself, yeah? Hard coding.
Hard coding, yes. Typing with your hands, like
Not
it has to be
reusable.
exactly. It's hard to reuse. But if you keep it dynamic, then it's like store or shop agnostic. You don't care what store they're gonna put in there. You don't care if Miss Mary is selling her t-shirts, or if Miss Claire is selling her jackets, or if Aidana is selling her kids' toys, or if Ulan is selling the shoes. It doesn't matter. We have created a very dynamic framework, and it will work with any shop because it's dynamic, store agnostic. Okay, so reusability, yeah? So, well, this part we're gonna talk about, it's going to be on this question, okay? Created by following page object model design pattern, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to that. And then what it says, start small and iterative. Yes, you see? This was one of the points that I made today. You're not gonna jump in and be the superhero and automate everything overnight. Don't sleep 24 hours coding and automating. No, you're gonna burn out. So what we have to do is start small. Begin a single critical flow. And let's say it could be employee login functionality. And then demo it to the team. Hey guys, look, because the initial setup, right now you don't realize, initial configuration and creating this very small framework structured for one test case is going to be the hardest part of your journey. Because that's where they call it boilerplate. Yeah, boilerplate means шаблоны. I don't know if this шаблон means template, the initial part. the initial configuration, the very beginning, but it has to be running. So the initial part is going to take some time. You shouldn't get frustrated because it will take time and everybody goes through that steps. So start small and iterative, meaning first prepare this boilerplate code, configure it, and automate one critical function. Write test case for one end-to-end scenario, such as login. Once you're able to do that, the rest is gonna follow the same flow. They will follow the same steps, okay? And then gradually expand the coverage to include other flows. Validate automation scripts using smoke tests. All right. So these are crucial considerations for your automation. Obviously, high risk and high usage areas first, which is the smoke suite first, okay? The high and most crucial components or functionalities of your software. Reliability, and don't worry about that, maintainability. Maintainability and scalability goes back to design pattern. You see, scalability says design, maintainability uses POM. So keep your code readable, clean, and make sure it's scalable, maintainable, reusable, avoid duplicate work, and documentation. Here's a simple script plan, precondition open browser for a login functionality. Again, list out, if you don't have any test management tool, just in the documentation, create a list of items that need to be automated, which is the smoke test plan. And then for each step, maybe you can also provide descriptions. How do you want to test it? What scenario are you trying to test? Yeah. Oh, this was pretty close to what I gave as an approach. Understand the application and its critical functionalities, create test scenarios, which is the smoke test, choose the tools, understand the tools and technologies, basically, right? And it's okay, this part, don't worry. Any questions? All right, this is it for today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you
Yeah,
guys.
I have a question, sorry.
Yes.
I saw one video where it was talking about like it was like a tester who was explaining like what is testing and etc. So in one of the point that he was telling is that like testing, he says like testing is about like 80% is API testing and the rest is like the rest like REST testing. Is it true? I mean, he says like once like the tester like tests all these API testing, then he is almost done with testing. Like, is
That-
it like the way that I like understood? But
No, I don't agree with that. Why? Because it depends on exactly, it depends 100% on your project. If they hire you for a project which is UI enhancements, meaning upgrading the UI, right? The front end, the web page itself, working mainly on the web page of the visible parts of the web page, the critical components of the web page, high level, high priority functionalities of the website, then you're going to spend majority of your time working on the web page itself.
Mhm.
And then if you are hired to test the API of the project, then majority of your time you will spend testing the API and automating it and documenting it, writing test cases and iterating the same process. If you were hired to do automation on the mobile testing, mobile applications, then you will spend there. So what does it mean? It means it depends on the project.
Okay.
So
Like,
for me, when
mhm.
I was hired for re-up, I was hired specifically for building out this process, build the automation framework, build quality assurance process, because they didn't have QA before, never. I was the first QA. I started out, I came up with a smoke test plan. I demoed it to the team, and the API is, there's no documentation on the API. So they gave me also like this is the scenario, right? They gave me this application and they said, test it and automate, build an automation for us. There was no API documentation at all, only UI. And the API was being built out by different companies. So even our developers didn't have much visibility into how the API was built out for us. So I was 100% focused on the UI features and functionalities. That's it. And entire 6 months I spent on the UI. And I built the automation framework using Playwright with TypeScript, which I never used in my life before. I just wanted to learn it. That's why I suggested to the team, I want to use Playwright and TypeScript. I never used it before because I know I'm going to get paid. And I might as well use this time to learn about the tool because I have to build it, the framework. In order to build it, I have to study. So I was sitting at night times after class and studying Playwright and writing and building the framework. But they were paying me for learning it and building it. Not additional. Yeah, I was hired to build an automation for them. I never used Playwright and TypeScript before. So I just opened Udemy, YouTube, a lot of documentation. I followed it and I started learning about Playwright and TypeScript and I built it for them. But for working for the company, they were paying me. So I did both at the same time. Now, this specific example was for UI only. So I never did any database or API testing for this project, for example, Aydana. And the framework that I built for them, now they hired 5 automation engineers and they are working on the framework that I built. And they are scaling it, making it bigger, right? All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
Excuse me, Bahar.
Thank
Yes.
you.